Soyos, welcome. So basically, in this individual reading, this will be for a Aquarius reading. This will be for Aquarius reading for August the 15th to August the 20th of 2026. So you know what's going on for you, Aquarius. I understand what you're going through from every single way, every single day that you're going through, and it's gonna be how it goes. It's gonna be how you're feeling, the way how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be how it's gonna be. Because in that way, you think to yourself, it's like, well, you're doing good, you're doing better, you're doing how it's gonna be, and that's that. But the way this is, no matter how you're going to be encourageable of what's going on, you need to be satisfactory. You need to be what's happening around you, and you need to focus on your own way of saying, okay, well, I'm going to have my own energy. I'm going to do exactly how it is. Yes, because when you have that build of extra strength and be happy and be accountable for your actions, that's all you can do. But you need to understand it, because you need to figure out what's happening in that way, whether you're going to understand. Because the way how this is, you need to adapt, and that's what it's going to be. Because when you're adapting, you need to understand from the inside out of the situation, no matter how it goes. So you need to focus on that. You need to focus on your own dignity, your own self-respect, and that's what's happening in that way. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. So the way this is, you need to focus on that, because that's what's happening. So let's see what's happening. So you'll be. So we have the Fool is upright. There's change, and the Empress is upright. There's no nurture, like there's no nourishment. So the way this is, Aquarius, you need to expect about change, because things will change as they go along. So the seasons are changing. The way how it works, that's what it's going to be. And when you focus on that, you need to focus on change, because the way of this is, that's what's happening in that way, because this is the way it works, and you need to understand that. Okay, so you need to believe in your own self. You need to have your own self-respect, and you have to understand what you're going through in every single way, and you think, okay, well, this is how it's happening, this is the way it is, and that's what's happening in that way. So that's how it is. So before I get to the reading, I'm going to tell you what's happening with this cosmic insights. And it says liar, because of someone sneaky. So maybe that'll be one of your emotions. Maybe you're becoming a liar. Maybe you're basically acting like you're being Pinocchio. I have no idea. Well, what this is, you need to focus on how you're feeling in that way, because that's what's happening in that way. Okay? And last but not least, you have divorce, experiencing a breakup. It's basically hard from that. Because when you have your own experience about if you're being married, when you're not being married, it all depends on your point of view. It all depends on how you're feeling, no matter what. Because when you focus on that, you have to focus on your own dignity and your self-respect, because that's how it goes. And when you do that, and you focus about you're having divorce or whatever it is, that's what it seems to be. Because when you focus on that, that's what's happening with all your emotions and your own mental health, right? So whenever you think about it, you need to understand that, because you're not playing games here. No, you're not. But what this is, you need to focus on that in that way. Okay, so you have to focus on that. So let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. So it's going to be you versus them in this situation, and let's see what's happening in that way. So let's see what's going on. So basically, the way how this is, you have the 501 star. There's chaos here. So you might be dealing with a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Okay, Aquarius. Now for them, you might be dealing with a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, because of the 5 of Cups. There's grace here. This is the way of a possibility, no matter how it goes in that way. So whether you might be you versus them in this situation, because you focus on what's happening in that way. So let's see what's going on. So let's see what's happening with this 5 wands here. You have the 10 cups first to single completion. Page cups, you want loyalty. 10 wands first to no burdens. Four of Swords, there's recuperation. Yeah, because you want to recuperate, you want loyalty, you want respect. Alright, that's what's going to be. But when you focus on that, you focus on what you're happening in that way. So whether you might be focused on a journal of your Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, you focus on how you're feeling, the way how it is. Let's say for them with this Five of Cups here. Two of Swords, reverse, they already know which path they're going to take. Five of Wands, there's no chaos. Queen of Pentacles, there's no pressure about money. Nine of Wands, there's trauma. Yeah, exactly. They're feeling what's happening in that way. So it's like, okay, everything seems to be fine, but it's like, no, it's not. So when you focus on that, you focus on how you're feeling in one way or another. So let's say what this Four of Swords about. Nine of Cups, there's fulfillment. Page of Wands, so invention. Ace of Wands, there's no new beginnings. Five of Pentacles, there's basically insecurity about money because you focus on how you're feeling in that way. So that's what's going to be in that way. Let's see what's this Five of Pentacles about. Nine of Pentacles, you want trust. Here of Pentacles, you want guidance. Nine of Wands, there's no fear. Four of Pentacles, there's no pressure about money. Five of Swords, there's conflict. Exactly. So, you know, when you're having conflict, things are not going as planned. But when you focus on that, and you're focusing about, you know, when you're having conflict, when you're not getting along, you know, that's what's happening in that way. You know, the way how this is, it's like you need to focus on your own dignity and your own self-respect, right? This is the way how it goes. There's no pain, no gain. But what this is, you know, you're playing a dangerous game, you know, for them. And when you're focused on that, it's like, well, this is not going to end well. No, it's not. So let's see what this Nine of Swords about. Queen of Wands, there's charisma. Three Cups, Three of Swords, there's no heartbreak. Page of Pentacles, there's no prospects. Ace of Swords, there's there's no anxiety. King of Wands, there's no leadership. Six of Wands, there's no celebration. Six of Cups, there's no the past. Seven of Pentacles, they're focusing on their career. Yeah. So the way this is, if they are focusing on their career because they want something to be perfect, that's what's happening in that way. It's like, okay, well, you know, the way how this is, you need to focus on that. You need to focus on how you're feeling in that way, because when you focus on that, you think to yourself, it's like, okay, well, everything's going to be fine. Yes, it is. But how would that be possible to make possible, right? That's what seems to be in that way. So that's between you versus them. So let's see what's this High Priestess about. And for them, the Temperance card, there's no healing. So that's what's happening. Okay, so what's this High Priestess about for you, Aquarius? World Sword, there's completion. Empress Sword, there's nourishment. Magician's Sword, there's skill. Hermit's Sword, there's solitude. Yeah, because you might be looking for a soulmate. Maybe you do. So it all depends on how you're feeling in one or another. So it's like you need to understand what you're doing in that way. So you need to figure out about how you're feeling one or another, and you focus on that, right? If you're focusing about being in hermit mode, if you want to do your own things, that's great. But you need to focus about having your own way of having your own solitude, right? That's what's happening, because about having like be bold and be beautiful, but that's how you're going to look at in that way. What's this Temperance card for them? Hangman, sorry, there's restrictions. Sun careers, there's negativity. Obviously there is, because they are focusing on having negativity against you, Aquarius. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. Lotus reverse, there's no decisions. Taurus over, there's transformation. Taurus over, there's healing. Exactly. So when you focus on having that ability to have the healing process, that's what's happening for them, Aquarius. Because when things are not going as planned, it's like, well, this is bad. It is. Because you're focusing on what's happening around you in that way. So you need to understand about what's happening in one or another, because that's what it is, Aquarius. You need to focus on that. Because if you're having restrictions, if you're having negativity, if you know things are not going as planned, that's what's happening in that way. Let's see what's in the middle of this situation. King of Cups reverse, there's no support. Yeah, because there's no support, right? So when you have no support, that's how it's going to be in that way. And let's see what this universe is saying. I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. So there's the Ace of Swords, there's a misunderstanding. Ten Pentacles is reversed, they already have a career. 4 of Wands reversed, there's no celebration. 6 Pentacles, they want kindness. 9 Cups is over, they want romance. Queen of Cups, they want empathy. Page of Cups is over, they want loyalty. Exactly. So they're finding a balance between, they're looking for two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. That's what it's going to be. We're saying middle and left side for you, Aquarius. Page of Cups, there's no education. Emperor is over, there's structure. Worship reverse, there's no skill. Ace of Pentacles, there's growth. 9 Pentacles reverse, there's no trust. Yeah, exactly. You're not trusting. So let's see what this 9 Pentacles about. Sun card reverse is an activity. Moon reverse is a misrotations. 4 Swords is over, there's recuperation. You want to recuperate. That's how you're feeling. And you have the 7 Swords is over, you're feeling deceit. Exactly. So when things are not going as planned, that's what's happening in that way. So you need to focus on that. So I hope you all like this video. Try to understand what you're going through in that way, and you need to focus about that. So Aquarius, I understand what you're going through, but you need to focus on that. You need to be humble, you need to be beautiful, you need to be how you're feeling. So I hope you all like this video. Please give a like, please leave a comment, enjoy, and I'll see you next one I do. And that's what's happening in that way. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time. So thank you very much. Thank you. Bye for now, Ruth. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, and thanks, and bye.